Hi, it's me JD and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're making retro style Christmas cards with some fun products from Catherine Pooler Designs. Thank you so much, Catherine, for these fun, amazing products. I can't wait to start playing. Here are some of the inks. They're new colored inks, which I'm excited about. So if you're ready, sit back, subscribe, and then we'll jump right into the first card. For this first handmade Christmas card, I'm going to be using some of that Catherine Pooler white cardstock, as well as these other fun patterned papers, and we'll start by making the background first. So I'm going to cut this 6x6 piece down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, the standard A2 size. I'll do the same for this white cardstock here. It's a heavyweight cardstock. It's bright white as soon as I can get it open. Anyway, so I cut it down to A2 size, and now I'm going to create my own snowbanks with this cardstock. So I just drew a wavy line that kind of looked like a snowbank, and I'm cutting it out by hand. I cut 2 different snowbanks just because I want to break up some of that color with this white cardstock. Next, I'll be working on stamping some of my snowmen out. And so this set comes with a bunch of different snowmen and different snowman accessories. I'm going to stamp and die cut out a bunch of different pieces. I don't really have a theme going yet, but I just wanted to have a bunch of options to play with. It's kind of like paper dolls, or my closet really. I have, you need a bunch of different options first, and then you decide what to wear. Of course, I'm using Catherine Pooler inks. These inks have got to be in my top 3 of favorite dye inks. I've raved about them before, and they're still fabulous in more fabulous colors. Can I say fabulous again? I think so, because it's fabulous. Okay, I'll stop now. Next, I'm adhering my snowbanks onto my background with some tape runner, and then I'll start building my scene with my snowman that I stamped and die cut out. I'm adding some liquid adhesive on the back of him. Then I'll add some fun accessories on him, including a top hat and then a fun scarf as well. And I am really surprised and amazed at the color combinations that Catherine Pooler put together. Like, you wouldn't think that this sangria color goes with a light blue or an orange or a light pink color, but somehow she melds them all together and it just looks phenomenal. It just works. Anyway, I'm using my pen to draw in the snowman's face. You saw there I stamped a carrot for his nose. And now I'm going to stamp my sentiment on the front of the card that says, "Snow much fun this way." And to add some bling bling to my card, I'm going to trace along the tops of my snowbanks with some glue. Carefully, well, I guess not that carefully. After cleaning up the back of my hand, I'm going to pour some fun glitteriness over the top of that liquid adhesive, and that glue will catch all of that glitter and make it really sparkly and shiny and pretty. And so there's just a little something added extra to the snow, which makes it so cool. I'll set this aside so the glitter can settle and the glue can dry, but all in all, this card is pretty much finished. I just have to add it to a note card. For this next DIY holiday card, we're going to give some time to each snowman from that set to shine a little bit. So I'm going to take this circle die and I'm going to create 3 different windows to place 3 different snowmen. To do some ink blending, I'm going to break out my blending brushes because I'm obsessed with them right now. And I'm going to go in each of these new colored inks and just do a slight ombre of ink color behind each circle window, so the top of the circle is really saturated and then it kind of fades down into white. And I'll do that for the blue color, the pink color, and the orange color, also known as hot tub, pink champagne, and orange peel. And these colors make me want a spa day stat. If you aren't familiar with Catherine Pooler inks, they differ from most dye inks because they're a foam pad, but they stamp so beautifully. It's like 99% of the time, I always get a crisp image. You can also do some ink blending with them, as you see here, and they just come in really modern, unique, and beautiful colors. These colors serve as a really cool background for all of my little snowmen, which I'm setting in their little windows now to make sure that they are properly positioned. I kind of wanted them to look like they're hanging out a window to say hey. To add some personality to these snowmen, snow people, I'm going to stamp on some smiles. And these cards and these little snowmen are making me miss cold weather, sort of. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, it's nice to be able to wear shorts and or pants and a light jacket during winter. And then other times, you know, I kind of wish for that white Christmas. But a give and take. In the meantime, I'll just live vicariously through my winter cards. Speaking of winter greeting cards, I'm going to add some more winter elements to my window panel with some more stamps from that stamp set, as well as a sentiment stamp from another Catherine Pooler stamp set. And now I'll add some foam tape to the back of this window panel just to pop this up and give some more dimension to it, and it cast a nice little shadow and pop to my little snowman. Once that panel is stuck on there, I'll just flip this over and cut off any excess snowmen hanging off. And I just have to add this to a note card, and then this card is finished. For this next card, you guys know I just had to make a shaker. Shaker cards are just in my bones, and these colors and the sequin pack and the snowmen were just calling out for a shaker card. So I cut down some of that pattern paper down to A2 size. Also cut down a piece of acetate to an A2 size to form my shaker window. Next, I'll break out some of my favorite foam tape to make my shaker well. And you guys know me, I like to double up my foam tape because I like my shakers to shake. And so once I've got a good long piece measured out, I'm just going to cut this in half to save on foam tape because foam tape's kind of pricey for, you know, what it does. Anyway, I'll peel off the backing and start creating that well by sticking the foam tape on all four sides, making sure there's not a square millimeter of space, otherwise my sequins will escape. Then I thought my shaker card needed a mound of snow, so that's what I'm making with the scrap paper. The score tape roll wasn't working, so I went with the foam tape because it's bigger. And I just traced around that. Now I'm just fussy cutting this mound of snow out. I wanted to center my snowman in the middle of the shaker card, so this mound helps to give him a place to stand and helps to center him within the whole scheme of the card. And so after looking at my shaker card, I wasn't really digging the colors, the color combination. I thought the sequins would get lost in all that. I thought the snowman would get lost in that because he's white and the background was white. So I just cut out a frame from another piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use a different background for my shaker card. But to save that piece of acetate, because acetate is kind of expensive and I don't want to waste it, I just cut out a frame and just put it right on top of the old frame. And then I'll use a blue background so my white snowman pops a little more. Next, I'm going to use some tape runner to adhere the mound that I made earlier. And it's time to start building my scene. I've got my snowman who's going front and center of my shaker card. And then I'll give him some accessories such as a top hat. I think that's my favorite accessory for a snowman. It just doesn't feel like a snowman without a top hat. I guess I'm an old school snowman lover. Anyway, I'll give him some scarves and a mitten, even though he doesn't have arms right now. I'm going to stamp in his face, and then like the other cards I did, I'm just going to draw in everything else, including his eyes, and then his buttons on the front of his body, and also his arms. Next is my favorite part of making a shaker card, which is pouring out the sequins. And I always love this part, even though I kind of stress about it because I never know how much is enough, or maybe it's not enough, or it's too much. I don't know. But here I went with a pretty good amount, I think. And now I'll peel off the backing of that foam tape and carefully stick my frame on top of my background. Give it a good shake as a good test. and making sure that nothing falls out of my shaker card. So I needed a sentiment and there's no place to stamp it. So I'm going to die cut it out. However, I didn't have the right colored cardstock for it, so I'm going to be making my own with that sangria ink pad. I just swiped a bunch of ink on the scrap paper, put my die on top, and now I have my own custom colored cardstock to coordinate with the rest of the colors. I'll just cut off the excess from that word die cut, and this shaker card is just about complete. We'll just do one quick recap of all of these winter greeting cards. As you can see, they're super cute. They're retro, but they've got a little modern touch to them too, which is cool. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these wintry snowman cards, and I'll catch you in the next video.